Good day, degenerates, and welcome to the NotACult podcast, where each episode I am joined by my three associates, and we discuss carefully curated topics ranging from gaming news to deep philosophical questions, among other truly degenerate topics. Every week, Retro Vin Craze and I'm Degradation by the way, each present a topic to discuss amongst each other, with a live audience chiming in every now and then. That's it. Enjoy. Craze, back from the dead. How are you doing, my friend? How was your last 2 weeks? You're muted.
2 weeks. I was here the week before. I just got
Yeah,
here
he
late.
just came late. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait.
I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, no, I
But the
mean,
week
so
before I was on it.
yeah, so chat hasn't heard about your last 2 weeks.
Oh, you see, that just too cultured for me.
Yeah, I'm very cultured.
Just
Everyone.
too damn cultured. All doing good, except a little bit of a little cold going around the family. You started with the kids because these little kids in school are just little bacteria bags.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm holding on. The kids doing great. Stream's doing good. Got my first death threat.
Very
What,
nice.
what else can I get?
So, what about this death threat? I know we're gonna get questions
you
about
want to
that.
cut into that now, or
I
I'd rather
mean,
hear how
For the
you guys are
stream,
doing?
then.
yeah, or are we gonna reveal it at the end of the podcast?
Yeah.
Hey,
Do it
just
that way.
stupid.
You have to stay tuned.
Yeah. All right. Stay tuned to find out why Craze got a death threat. The answer will shock you. Retro. How about you, man?
What's up?
How was your
what's
week?
up? It's been a chill week. I took a little vacation. Went out with Iggy for like 3 days from Wednesday
Oh.
to Friday. Yeah, and then just as soon as I got back, fucking hitting the books. I'm a little behind on homework, but
Nerd.
submitted everything. Just got some reading to do, and that's it. Didn't stream. Didn't do anything else. How
Wow.
about you, Mr. Vinny?
Um, I'm currently entering vacation mode, so I'm alright.
Hey.
I had a whole week of working, intense working, because every time you're about to leave on vacation, people will be like, "Damn, you're not gonna be here for the next month, right? So do this and this and this and this and this." But now it's alright. It's all gone, and yeah, glad to be here.
Alrighty. As for me, I just got back from a wedding of a friend of mine, a high school friend, and he got married. First of all, he moved to Germany from the Netherlands, married a German chick there, very nice girl. So it was a very weird 4-language wedding. They spoke Dutch, Frisian, which is my own language, which he also spoke, English, and German. Basically, nobody understood what was going on for the entire duration until everybody got fucked up, and then everything went smoothly. I got smashed, and I shouted all evening, and I woke up this morning. My throat felt like a bag of razors. Is that a saying? It felt like that, and then I drove back home, or I had myself get driven back home, and in the car I was preparing the podcast all the while. That's efficiency. That's basically the big thing for me this week.
Right there.
Yeah. You gotta put in the work to make a podcast this fantastic. All right, let's move on to the first topic, shall we?
Shall we?
I wanted to start off a little bit light because I have some very big topics I'd like to discuss. But before we do anything, let's keep it a little bit light. I wanted to know, because I've been curious. I haven't played Pokemon Unite at all. I saw some footage, and I know Craze and I think Craze and Retro have played it quite extensively. Craze is flashing I think a Pokemon Oreo to the camera. That's why he's the man to ask. How is it? How is it so far? Thoughts?
First off, that cookie was to make my son feel better from his cold. So I got him that Pokemon pack. He went ballistic about it.
Yeah, you went.
Of course,
you got it for your son. Sure.
Yeah, listen, I went to the pack, to make sure everything was edible in there, just to make sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Very good.
Unite is the next wave when it comes to accessible games across platforms. It's just something that everybody can have their phone now. Everybody can have the game on their phone. Their kids can play it. Heavily played by a lot of kids, but still a huge population of adults in there, like the nostalgic ones that watched that watched in the early 2000s. So it's a good bet. For people that like MOBAs, like League of Legends, Might,
Right.
Dota, stuff like that. This is a not I'm not gonna say a dumbed down version, but a little bit easy.
More
It's something that
accessible,
people
right?
have been asking for a while because these games are super long. The games are long in Dota and League of Legends, so this is like the exception of like saying we're gonna give you a timer. You have to do everything in this much time, 15 minutes.
Hmm.
So it's a good thing for MOBAs. The game doesn't come without its faults. It has its faults, but for a good time, it's all good. It started off on Nintendo Switch back in July. It made its mobile release in September, around like I think it was September 13th or something. And it's getting a lot of buzz. It's getting a lot of buzz. Very competitive. Very competitive.
Oh,
But
nice.
overall,
Yeah.
good game.
The game length
I,
is one of the
I hate it.
things. Oh, Vin, let's
Mm.
go.
It's the but it's because I love it, but I hate to playing on my phone, you know.
Ah,
So it's kind of it's very annoying to actually play on my phone, but it's really good. It's a fucking good game. The thing that I love the most is it's because it works like in reverse mode. When you play League of Legends or Dota, you enter the match and you don't know how long it's gonna last. It might last
right.
like a whole hour. On Unite, it lasts 10 minutes, and that's that. So whoever does its best in these 10 minutes, you're good to go.
For
Right.
me, like I played it, but I got bored of it quick. I guess just that MOBA in
Right.
general is not my category. It's no, nothing against the game. I did like everybody's been saying, the comparison of you having the limit was what first drew me in. But again, like I don't know, it just got boring after a while, so I just stopped playing it. But it's nothing against the game. Just the whole genre as a whole is not for me.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm still gonna check it out. As Craze says, that like the longer matches are some of the things that I used to play a lot of League of Legends, and I really loved it. Aside from the toxic community, but like the game lengths, they really sucked me in.
Really? You played League of Legends? You don't look like a person who played that kind of game.
I know
Yeah.
it's a secret.
You don't have bags under your eyes.
Yeah, it should be a
No,
secret. Now everybody knows.
that's what I
Don't do
mean.
that.
That's what I mean. I played it a lot. Especially back in high school, I played it for hours a day. And you can't just play one match because one match is you got to get into it, and then you need to play another match. That's already 2 hours usually,
Yeah.
and that's I wanted you want yeah. On one hand, that's great. On the other hand, that really doesn't fit my lifestyle anymore. That's why I'm looking at Pokemon Unite. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan. I used to love it. Now I'm like, all right, I'm kind of over it, but I still recognize it, and that's great. And if it's just good gameplay, good how do you call it? Dota? No,
Dota, yeah.
yeah,
MOBA?
MOBA.
No,
MOBA.
no,
That's the word.
Dota. Oh, I think I'm with the
Uh,
actual game.
yeah, no, I get those confused. Good
The
MOBA
first one,
gameplay and just 10
yeah.
minutes. That sounds good.
The first one to
Mhm.
do that kind of approach was Heroes of the Storm, you know.
Yeah, I
But
love that as well. But
Blizzard kind of always drops the ball, you know.
yes,
And
yes,
I'm curious
they
about that
kind of
actually.
do.
especially Heroes of the Storm had a lot of problems with how you're gonna balance the game, how you're gonna make people compete because you couldn't farm for money, you couldn't like do pretty much anything. So it was kind of difficult to understand how you can. If my team starts winning, how are you gonna win against my team? You know how can you strategically win against the other person? So people were not really fond of that. That's my impression. I loved to play that game back in the day. It was very fun, except for the long queue times. And
Hmm.
now Pokemon just
Right,
got like a I think the approach that Pokemon had with Switch and mobile was very good strategy to do
like financially
because
very smart, right?
yeah, and to reach people because when you release a game on PC, people will kind of expect something a little bit more hardcore, you know. And now if you release it to mobile, people can understand that oh, this is for me to play on my lunch break or something like that. So 10 minutes is top notch, and where I think they kind of hit the mark, you know.
Yeah,
That's funny that you mentioned that. That's
Yeah,
funny.
because a
Sorry,
lot
go
of
ahead.
gamers shit on mobile for some reason, but the biggest console, realistically speaking,
It's
is
mobile.
mobile.
Yeah,
It's
one
your
hundred
This
percent.
fault. Yeah.
has more PC, has more than consoles. Got my fucking old lady here playing fucking Panda Pop on it every fucking night. So yeah, you
Oh
release a
man,
mobile and it's a hit on
Wait,
mobile, you're
wait.
good.
Your mom's a gamer?
Yeah, she
Holy
plays
bro,
Panda
shit.
Pop.
bro, my mom was on that Candy Crush grind. She's like, I
Yeah,
Mine
made it to
too.
level.
Mine too.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I made it to
my
level
mom is a nut, dude.
675. Like, what? There's still levels after that? Oh god
Yes.
It's
damn.
like it's
Yes.
like 5,000 total. I saw the other day.
I'm like,
Somebody
wow,
posted on
they
social
just
media that
restricted.
they beat Candy Crush and it was 5,000 levels. I'm like, you fucking crazy.
What the fuck? And you gotta pay to finish that. Oh, they. My mother plays Candy Crush too, and she's been playing it for like 500 years at this point. And I know they made a lot of money off of her. God damn.
Yeah,
No, but
criminal case, all these kind of games.
Hmm.
but to add on to the topic with Pokemon is at the very beginning there was a big issue with the game where people were divided. People were saying that the game is pay to win. The game is people say it's not pay to win. They look at different. There's two different perspectives. After this mobile release, after you've had like what 2 to 3 months with the game out, I still hold my own saying that it's not pay to win because
Right.
now they've even made it for I was it was for me it was never pay to win because I felt like you can have everything up to you can level your gear up to a certain level, but it doesn't make you a good player. It depends on you.
Hmm.
Like if you're a shitty player, but you have that certain advantage, it doesn't even out for you.
I have
But
one question
now,
for you after
yeah,
that,
go ahead.
Chris.
All right,
No.
so now what they did was to kind of act that, and this is what we expected. They were going to add new items to counteract the ones that people were consistently just splurging money on, but also giving you the
Hmm.
chance to here. We're going to give you three of these things that'll level you up. Go check it out, and people have been doing that, and nothing's changed. It's still the same game, and it's staying the same difficulty we had before. Nobody's gotten better from that. It's just now they say, okay, you know what? Here's your chance. Make the difference, and it hasn't happened as of yet. And the thing about this now is that the game itself. Oh, sorry, I'm having a little bit of a brain fart right now, but the game is
Me this
still
entire podcast.
the only thing about
Always.
the game that I don't like is that now you're seeing the microtransactions now. They're giving you like these things that you don't need to have. It's just cosmetic, but they're making it hell of expensive. They just released a skin for a Pokemon right now that if you look at the conversion rate is $40.
What?
Holy shit.
What?
$40 for a skin for I think you might know Ninetales.
Right.
$40 for a skin.
Wow.
And
Crazy.
I'm
And
like, what the
I
hell?
was crying at the Brawlhalla skins being $15. 40 for a fucking Pokemon skin?
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
that's
steep. But you
crazy.
know there's gonna be some kids stealing their mother's credit card and
Yeah.
getting that
Yeah.
shit.
But there has been clapback though. There has been a lot of
Mm.
clapback at Nintendo. Sorry, Tencent and Timmy for whatever they call
Yeah.
it.
Tencent is a
Um,
money-making machine.
yeah.
Mm.
So
It's
they
a
clapping back. They say
government
that we're not
making
gonna buy
video
it.
games. Basically, Tencent is a government making video games because they're
Hmm.
right there. They're them and China government go hand in hand.
Mhm.
But I
But go
have one
ahead, baby.
question to you, not as you're a long-time player and I'm a recent mobile player. I was speaking to my good friend Lucas, the Google Photos guy, and we
Oh,
Mhm.
I
were
was wondering
wondering.
who he was.
Yeah, we were wondering like, all right, some people are playing the Unite for like ever since July, you said, and
Yeah.
now we're entering the
Right.
game as newcomers from mobile. How do you think they're balancing this? Because you're far much more experienced by time than I can be, you know. So you have like the best items already. It made things a little bit uneven. So how's things happening right now?
So honestly, if you can get all the items after you get to a certain level, and when you get to like level 15, you have all the items you want. Or if you get by like level 9, you have enough money to buy every item in the shop. You just can't level them up. The way that Unite made the game was that once you hit level 20 on these item enhancers, that's the highest that's like the best thing you can get from it. You can keep going from there, but we've noticed that there's not much of a difference going from 20 to 30 as you going from 0 to 20. Like 0 to 20 is the best amount that'll make you competitive. In regards to like the
Right.
matchmaking, you can't go into rank unless you hit a certain level anyway. And when you jump in, you're playing with lower ranks, so you won't come up with the ones that have a lot of experience. You're gonna have to deal with like the little kids, like my son, who's like who's playing it and made it to like beginner class 3. I don't know how he did it, but he ranked up to that level. So you're gonna come out with a lot of these lower ranked players that are just playing solo. Once you get to like expert, like even great class, when you get to expert, that's where things get a little bit really choppy because then you start seeing the more experienced ones there. But in great right now, you have a lot of people who are just like casually playing the game that don't really go into rank as much, and they're like in that in between. So that's like the midpoint is a great class. So
Hmm.
you'll do good if you have somebody. I would recommend just going with a partner, do a duo queue, and
Yeah.
go in. It'll make it so much easier for you.
I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
I hated
changed.
playing by myself. It was
Yeah, solo.
sometimes you just get people like they do 0 points. You know,
I
you're
don't
like,
know if
what you're
it's
doing.
changed from when I played, but if you could just buy the season pass, that for us is like $10, you're
Mhm.
good. That's all you need.
Yeah,
Once you have the season pass with all the shit they give you, that's how I upgraded all my items to like 20 something. Is by getting the rewards from the season pass and doing like the little daily missions they give you and whatnot.
yeah. That's my trick. I have a lot of people who gone to master rank or hit level the max level on their account, and they say, "Yo, how come you finished your battle pass before I did, and you're way lower level than me? Well, you gotta have a boost or something." I'm like, "No, first off, there's no boost for that. Second, you gotta play right. Don't play in the morning all day, get tired of the game, and leave. There's a cutoff date. There's a refresh moment where all the events or like little side missions that they reset. I always play coincidentally at that time where I play for like the last 2 hours, get the ones for the day, and then it resets again, and I get the next one for the next day. So you're always hitting that mark. And you just go check that out. It's fairly easy to get those tickets, and you can get it level 20 in your items. Is so easy. It is so easy, and you don't even have to pay for it. You got to pay from 20 to 30
All
because that's
right.
what gets really expensive.
Now that is some hot beginner tips for Pokemon Unite.
Yeah.
People look to try it out, like myself. Uh, we'll do that. It was very interesting to me. But now let's move on to the next topic, and I wanted to ask each one of you separately. Uh, we're at episode 9 now, a bit of a short season, but it's going to be the season finale today. We're going to take a little break, regroup a little, and come back stronger than ever. But how did each and every one of you find having a podcast, starting a podcast, doing this every week for almost 3 months now, I think? I wanted to start with Retro.
I mean, I've always loved podcasts. I have one tattooed over my heart, the Keith and the Girl podcast. Been listening to podcasts for over a decade now. Some
Damn.
co-working synergies introduced me to it, and I like it. It's like
Before it
old
was cool, if you
school.
will, you fucking hipster.
Yeah, back when people, you would tell a person, "Oh, I listen to a podcast," they'll be like, "What? What's that? Like radio on the internet?" Yeah, since those days. But I like it. Reminds me of going to school and playing like Howard Stern on the radio on my way to school when mom drove us. But even better because it's not censored. Because Howard was always censored on the radio, and then until he reached like what was it? The stupid satellite thing that everybody had on their cars, crazy.
Serious XM.
XM, yeah. Then he became a little more wild. So I like it because it's not regulated by the FCC. You could do whatever the fuck you want. We have the slight limitation as we record on Twitch that we have to follow Twitch's TOS. But for
Right.
the most part, in podcasts, most of the ones I listen to are not edited. So you just get the full raw shit, kind of like Mr. Joe Rogan that also does 3 hour podcasts. And there's a podcast for everything. If
Oh
you're
yeah,
thinking about, oh yeah, there's no such thing as a sea bass fishing podcast. There is one, and they're
definitely
out there
100%.
doing content every X amount of time. And yeah, it's like books to me. Like yeah, you'll find whatever you want to entertain yourself with a podcast.
Right.
How about you, Mister Vinicio?
At first, I always wanted to make a podcast. That's a thing that I tried back in 2013. But due to the pandemics and all this kind of shit recently, I was kind of, I had my doubts, because we would be just another four dudes speaking to the microphone. And there's been like a huge boom of podcasts and YouTube and all this kind of stuff because people
Oh yeah.
were looking for something to do, looking for a way to earn maybe money or just express themselves. So I was wondering if we would be able to make it, you know. And to be honest, some friends of mine listen to the podcast, and always we're having like 10, 12 people listening to us live, and that's for me it's humbling, you know.
Oh
I
yeah.
really enjoy that because people could be doing anything else, you know. They could be like, you know,
Doing
having
the
their,
dishes
yeah,
Jacking
doing
it.
the
outside.
dishes, having fun or whatever, and they're here listening to us, and that's kind of amazing. I like that, you know.
Cool. Yeah, listening to us instead of having fun, because
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is just
That- that-
plain torture,
It's,
obviously.
you know, you can have both. You can have both. You either listen to us or you have fun. You
Yeah,
can have both.
it's one or the other. All right, cool. Craze, what are your thoughts, man?
When you guys first proposed it, it was in a weird time because this all kind of sparked up from our Sunday sessions
Oh yeah.
of just playing Valheim. And after like a long week of doing my own thing, streaming, work, all that stuff, like the Sunday sessions were like a much needed like little break from reality. We were just being ourselves, talking this shit. You always putting retro on me in these weird conversations to see how we're gonna end up fighting each other. And it became a habit. It became a habit now. And you guys decided, you know what? Why don't we just make this, a little more organized? Just make it like there's just this take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Um, I love the idea. I love the idea because I've always heard, especially retro, I heard them always clamoring in one of our other old friend groups. Hey, we should do a podcast. We should do a podcast because of all the conversations we used to have in there. But nobody ever picked up the ball on that. Never. Always yes, yes, yes. We're gonna do it, but never got done. And I was always interested to see what that would happen. And I even in one that I think I mentioned it to Retro about getting our one of our friends Panda. I was
Mhm.
like, hey, you guys, let's just do it. I mean, if it's to get it rolling, I'll start pushing for that. I'll probably help you out with that. But then you guys got in, like, you know what? This is perfect. This is amazing. I've never been a podcast guy. The only time I use podcasts is when like I would hear Tiger Belly on the way home from on the way to work or something. That's the Bobby Lee podcast.
Right.
Or if I needed to, if I was into a new game, like, and this is why I use podcasts for a lot. Is I would look when I would get into the new game, I would type in the specific name of the game, and then something had to come up because there was, like Rachel said, there's always a
Right.
podcast for something, and I would come up with that stuff, and I would just hear them talk about it because um the most, let's say, dedicated, most passionate people for a game are the ones that go and do a podcast
Oh yeah.
because they have a lot of interesting things to say. So
If you can
like that
fill an
was
entire
my
podcast with information every week, then about a certain game, especially, then you're fucking deep in it.
hell yeah. Like even a specific topic, like you said, like you're looking for sea bass fishing, you'll find sea bass fishers in a podcast one of these days, and that's the great thing about podcasts is it's yeah, it's scripted and some are not scripted, but it's not regulated, so you can just be yourself, except for hey, damn Twitch.
Yeah.
And
Well.
adding to craze because I forgot how this started too. Yeah, because in Valheim, for listeners that are new now, we were supposedly playing Valheim, but it was really just talking shit the whole time. And it was like, yeah, there's Valheim on the background somewhere, and we made the slowest progression you could in 3 months when people actually
Oh
beat the game in
yeah.
a month. So yeah, so we decided, yeah, all this shit talk, let's just put it together. And it's like Craze said, Sunday, we don't really talk as much. We're four fucking adults in their 30s. Vin is an honorary 30-year-old. So yeah, so
and and I got invited, like I kind of just took together, right? Because it was like, oh, you want to play with us this day? Yeah. And then I just started
yeah,
playing with you guys on the other days as well.
exactly.
Nobody reminded me to say, oh, okay, you can go now.
Yeah,
So
well,
it feels
you
good.
can
It's like
go
the
because
the
you
one
can't.
day a week we could actually communicate with each other, see what's up, and talk about random topics in the middle of
Yeah.
it as well.
We used to call playing Valheim jokingly. We used to call that the Sunday podcast already before we actually started a
Hmm.
podcast. We spoke about some gems there that will now be lost to time. We had some very cool interaction there, and we have a very interesting dynamic. I always thought. I never had the ambition. Apparently, I'm the only one that never had the ambition to start a podcast. I
You
think.
say that, But when I say, "Oh, we should do a podcast," the next day you rented all this bullshit. Like it was
Hell
like,
yeah.
oh, I didn't even think we were actually gonna go with it. But I said, "Hey, what about a podcast?" And the next day, oh look, podcast is ready. I'm like, "Oh shit."
I just go hard on things, and I love you guys, and I love making content with you guys, and this is just the way to do it. And like you said, it already was a podcast, kinda. So it just took a little extra push. And when I say yes to something, I wanna do it. I don't say yes like some other people and don't do it.
God damn, Vin.
What did Vin do?
Vin is, By the way, I don't know, you wasn't here, Craze, but last week it was revealed that Vin has a huge penis, a
Mm.
very huge penis, and his
So they,
friends went to visit him, and that's the running joke around his friend group that he has the biggest dick in the squad, and he's
so
over
that's what
here
we
talking.
heard.
One hundred
Yeah,
Pig
percent.
stand
Yes.
squad.
100%.
I do have a regular penis, all right.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody
Wait,
knows here.
What in Africa?
no, yeah, I was gonna say for the listeners in Brazil, regular penis. I think the average penis is like 8 inches in Brazil, and those like Pornhub shits that come up once a year.
Yeah, Brazil is just all sex. It's all big things: big ass, big tits, big
Yeah.
dicks,
So I
and
heard. So is
big
it true what they said?
nose rings.
But
Is it true what?
the thing is, my friends, they've been sticking with this fucking story since high school. It's annoying, you know. But yeah, every damn opportunity they have to say something like that, they will do something.
Look at him being humble.
So is it true that when babies in Brazil are born, when they pull them out, they pull them by the dick first to make sure that it gets a little
I
extension?
heard that one.
Really?
The people say that the doctor gets confused. What is the umbilical cord and what's the penis?
Holy shit.
You know,
These
it's
dudes, man.
it's hard to be a doctor. What can I say?
Yeah.
It's well. So what I missed last week? What you guys did? 'Cause I jumped in last week, and I heard Rachel talking about
Poop?
female rappers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was like a quick one. I had to jump in because I was in the middle of like driving around. But other than that, like, what else did I? What else you guys came up with?
I think that was the last good topic that we had. At least
The last hour was just
We
all
spoke about poop. Yeah.
all
Come on,
about shit.
half the podcast had topics, the other half was just poop for the rest of the
Jesus
podcast.
It just happened,
Did
man.
Did Vin bring up
whole
poop?
say of poops.
This is just what happens when you're not there, Craze. It just goes to shit, literally.
Then it went way off subject. Okay, Mrs. High, what did they talk about? Because they're not telling me.
Just poop, all types of poop.
Yeah,
Jesus,
we
eh?
went off subject a number of times, but it's all a drug fueled haze for me. I'm not sure what even happened last week. I need Craze there to keep us grounded.
I did hear that Dej actually pooped on stream.
Uh,
No, that was me. That was me actually.
No,
Yes.
no, there's a clip of Dej pooping on stream.
There
Oh
is?
no, that was not the
Dude,
stream. That was a
Retro
YouTube
took
video.
Retro took the quickest
Oh.
shit ever.
I took
Yeah,
a
it was
phrase, poop.
so
You remember how you
quick.
say when you had roommates, you had to boom like a chicken? So it was the podcast. And I'm
poops.
like, yo, I went. I'm like, yo, BRB. I didn't say what I was doing. Boom. I came back. That was a short piss. I'm like, that was a short shit. I actually dropped a deuce, and that's what started
Yeah.
the topic.
You need to teach me, man. All
Yeah,
right,
bro.
I think it's time to move on to the next subject before we go talk about shit again. Finn
I see.
Finn submitted a topic that really caught my attention. I think it's multi-part, but the first one I would like to hear about is vomiting as a defense mechanism.
No, you misunderstood. It's the same story.
Oh shit!
The popcorn killer and vomiting as a self-defense mechanism.
Oh
The
shit!
same thing, you know.
All right, this has got to be good,
Um,
right?
All right, this is quite a long story, so I'll try to tell on parts. But let's go. When I was younger, I was born. Just kidding. But when I was younger, one of the most tough times for me was when I discovered that we are kind of mortals. You know, that we're going to die, and this struck me like really hard to the stomach, and I started vomiting. I was at my auntie's house.
Holy
I
shit!
started vomiting. I got really anxious, and that's something that I still have today. When I have panic attacks, my first reaction is go to vomit. Um, so that's when it all started. Fast forward a few years in the future, I recently moved to this city that I currently live, and it started to rain really, really hard rain, and the rain started to pour from the sockets and from the lights. It was really scary,
Oh fuck.
and only I was only with my mother at the house at the time because my dad was traveling to work, and I got really scared. Then I went to the garage, and what did I do? I started vomiting, and every time that it started to rain, I would vomit. So I was visiting some friends from school. There's what was tough rain. I went to the bathroom and started vomiting. That was my whole vomiting as a self-defense mechanism. Fight or flight, I chose vomit. And so it was the fifth grade, and we had like a camping travel to another city here. We would be there for like 3 or 4 days
Right.
and just camping. There's another cool, sweet story there, and nothing, something that you won't listen when you're fifth grade, except if you went to this fucking place. But we went there, and um, I had this stupid idea to do some eating contest with a friend of mine. So we
Oh.
at lunch we would eat everything we can eat. So I would eat like binge eating, eating a lot, and this of course made me sick of my stomach. So every night I would get kind of anxious a little bit because I was alone in the middle of the woods, and I would go vomit, and that was my modus operandi during that time.
just normal camping rhythm.
Yeah,
Just normal.
and this camping was filled with a lot of plays. You had like volleyball, you had like another game that's called Delta that you have like a number, stuff like that.
And precision
And
vomiting, probably like a big
what?
precision vomiting. You have this big target. You just projectile vomit.
I was never too precise, but I was. If there was quantity, I was winning.
Oh shit! You
Uh,
must be very proud of
but
that.
yeah, I didn't have any girlfriends for a long time,
Hmm.
but so I never saw black light until that day, and we were having this kind of play that was of terror, where they were telling a story about a crazed guy that used to sell popcorn in that camping, and then he flipped the switch and he started murdering people. And the idea is for us to hide and seek, from this guy. He was like on a costume of a popcorn guy. But the plot twist here that made me really nervous is that I never saw black light before, and the room was filled with black light. And my friend started laughing, and the glow of his teeth, everything that was white, kind of glowing, made me super scared. I was so fucking scared. And everybody started running, and people were like, "Run, run! The popcorn man is around! Run, run!"
Oh,
I was
dude.
like, "Damn, I'm gonna die today!" And I started vomiting and crying, vomiting and crying. And
Wait, how old were you here? Was this
I
last year?
was like, no, I was like 11
24.
years